Hello, my love, and welcome back to Being That Woman. On today's episode, we're going to talk into what to do in that breakup stage. I know for so many women, there is sometimes still communicating with the ex. And also there might be this energy between the two of you where one of you is trying to get back with the other one. And I know from my experience, I had a 6-month breakup. So I consider myself somewhat of an expert in that tanglement of, do I get back with him? Do I not get back with him? He wants to get back with me. Do I want to get back with him? And now I want to get back with him, but he doesn't want to get back with me. And then there is, of course, all of the emotions, the relief, finally, I'm free of all of the stress and all of the anguish. And then there's the sadness, and then there's the rage and the anger. And also there can come with that all of the thoughts and all of the belief systems that you haven't wanted to think or feel for a really long time. So maybe also at the same time there is divorce on the table. Maybe you have kids, so there is a need for some communication as well to get things closed, complete the cycle, and also have some sort of amicable relationship for your children. So one of the things that I want to start off with in saying here, and I don't think that this is said enough, is that a breakup is a traumatic experience. Absolutely. And every single person's definition of trauma is very different. Yes, we have big T traumas, which are acute, chronic, or also complex traumas. And we also have small T traumas, which are considered somewhat smaller by certain people. But one of the things that I heard my mentor, Alexi Panos, once share with me is that it doesn't really matter the type of trauma. What matters is it's your trauma. So to you, it is a big deal. So when I heard that, I was like, oh, this is really, really refreshing, because sometimes I know that my tendency has been to try and bypass it as, oh, I'll get over it. Oh, it's not a big deal. Or, oh, it's so much worse for other women. And we gaslight ourselves, and women are so well at doing that because we've been conditioned to avoid meeting our needs and really asking for what we want and asking for what we need and really even being an advocate for ourselves. With trauma, what it is doing whenever we experience something that is like a shock to the system, so a breakup is a shock to the system because you have been co-regulating to a certain degree with that other human and you built a sense of safety with him. So what it means is the minute that inherent connection, and women are so much more wired for connection than men biologically, when that is broken and when all of a sudden we experience this disconnect and this divide, there is a part in our body that starts to experience some fear and anxiety that is a threat. Especially if you are entangled in this relationship, like I said earlier, with kids, or you've had a life that you've been building together for years and years and years, and you've got, marriage papers and a ring on your finger and all of the things that are connected with marriage. But also you've possibly, like you had an entanglement of friends that you're inherently connected to. So you have blended friendships. Or even blended families. Maybe your parents got on and get on still with his parents. Like there is a whole infrastructure around you that all of a sudden now is at threat. When that happens to the body goes into a survival response, a stress response in the nervous system. And you'll go into fight, flight, or freeze, or possibly appease. Maybe you'll try to be the good girl that's like easy going. It's like, oh, I'll make sure that everyone's okay and make sure that everyone's happy, and I'll just say yes to whatever he wants to do, and I'll be easy going for the sake of the kids or for the sake of peace. When we go into these stress responses, it's because we feel a threat. It's because a part of us or a sense of ourself has essentially flared up with all of the anxiety, all of the fearful thoughts, all of the don't know what to do, all of the emotions that maybe you, like I, were very well conditioned not to feel. All of this starts coming up because of the threat. and we need to try and protect ourselves. So with trauma, it's too much, too soon, not enough, or not long enough. That essentially is how trauma is created in the body when we have an outside experience that is too much, too soon, not enough, for not long enough. So a breakup 100% can lend into the categories of too much, because it can be very, very overwhelming to start having to be with all of the internal fear, all of those emotions, like I said, all of the thoughts. What am I going to do now? Will I ever meet anyone again? And why is this happening? And if you've been cheated on and betrayed and abandoned as well, it's like an extra level as well, because women are so well programmed to think that there is something wrong with us, that we're not good enough, that we're too much, that we did something wrong, and we get to spiral in the shame of that because of it. And we can really go down the rabbit hole, and that can feel too much to the system. So we go into a survival response. Equally, too soon, it might have blindsided you. Maybe you knew you had problems in the relationship and things weren't going quote unquote well, and you were trying to work things out, but all of a sudden blindsided. Maybe he filed for divorce. Maybe he said it's over. Maybe you found out that he cheated. And it was like, oh, well, I thought we were still trying to figure things out. And I knew that things were bad, but I didn't think that they were this bad. And why didn't I see it coming? So we can really go into the head because it's overwhelming for the system. And we go into that response. So for me, in my breakup, I went straight into flight response. I went straight into, I need to get out of the relationship. I need to get away from him. I can't deal with this right now. I need to go and preoccupy myself and do something else. And then I decided to go traveling and work on myself and work on my life, which is a beautiful thing, but also it is a coping mechanism to not have to deal with and face off with the truth of what was there and to feel all of my feelings. Now, I was 100% in the fight response in the relationship. So that last 6 months, not the breakup 6 months, but the last 6 months of the relationship, I was very much in fight. There had been a betrayal, and I couldn't quite feel the extent of how much that hurt me and the pain of it, that I went into, I'm just going to project all of this onto him, and I'm going to fight. I'm going to fight him. And I fought with him. I fought with him for no reason, for every reason, for the reason. Any reason I could find to be a bitch, I found it. And I have so much compassion for myself for back then. I wish I knew then what I know now, and we can only meet ourselves and life and other humans with the resources that we have at the time. And I didn't have these tools. I didn't understand that my emotions were valid. I didn't understand that I could be a yes to them and not feel shame for them, and also receive the shame and the judgment back for them as well. I could have put a boundary in place back then. I didn't even know what boundaries were. And because of that, I was feeling all of these emotions and I didn't know what to do with them. And all I could do was blame him, just throw everything at him and project and project and project. And that fight clearly didn't work because there was no resolve. We didn't resolve the relationship. There was no solution. There was no repair. So when we broke up, I'd kind of definitely exhausted myself with fight energy. It was almost like I have nothing left to give. I don't even think at that point I hated him. I was just exhausted by him and the relationship and the cycle of going back and forth. And I know somewhat this to be true for him at the time as well. And when we broke up, I knew that there was no going back. There was a part of me that wanted to go back, and there was a part of me that kept kind of dancing in and out, but I knew there was no going back. And with that, because I still couldn't feel my feelings, I chose to flight. It had almost like I'd gone into the fight, the flight, and then the freeze. And freeze is when we go into almost like a shutdown response, and we've tried fighting, judging, blaming. And we've said all the things that we wanted to say, and it didn't work. So then we try flight. So I tried to get away, I tried to run away, I tried to avoid, I tried to distract. I tried to make it so that I wasn't around him and I just avoided him and I didn't respond to his text messages or his emails. I went into the flight response. That didn't work. And when I say work, I mean make me feel better. Work sometimes to a woman can be like, oh, it didn't win him back or it didn't mend the relationship. But really, what I'm talking about here from a biological standpoint is it didn't make me feel regulated, at ease, at peace, in acceptance. So when flight didn't work, we go into the freeze. And freeze is that shutdown response where we almost become like a tortoise and we go into shell and we can't deal with anything, we can't think. And this really affects all of life. So for example, if you're in the fight response, you will fight in other areas of your life because that energy is within you. Those thoughts, those belief systems, and the way your body is holding energy is going to go into work, is going to go possibly into your other relationships and friendships. One of the things that I know about this work is that until we meet that energy and that emotion and we find safety within ourselves, so it's not the outside result changing, it's an internal experience changing. We don't want to use these survival mechanisms to receive an outside result. The outside result comes when we have created a response and a feeling within us that is secure, that is a big exhale, like I can just be like, I'm here, I'm landed, I'm not thinking these worrying thoughts or overthinking or overanalyzing or second guessing myself or questioning myself. And for me, that was, why did he cheat on me? Why with her? What's wrong with me? What do I do now? We have all of these friends and everyone's involved and what is he saying to them? And it creates this like real cycle of ruminating that keeps us stuck. So I hear from so many women is like, oh my God, I'm stuck and I don't know what to do. That is the cycle of thoughts of just going over and over, repeat. And the energy stays in the mind. The energy stays in the head. So until we actually be with these stress responses internally, not to create a different result on the outside, the guy and the experience connected to him can all still be chaos. Like he can still be reaching out to you and trying to get back with you, or still sending you abuse, or still trying to manipulate and coerce you. He can still be doing all of those things because we can't change him. Let that land. We cannot change him. Men will only change of their own accord. Men will only change when they realize that their behavior isn't just affecting other humans, it's affecting them. And it doesn't feel good for them. So it just goes back to the same piece that I'm speaking into here, is that we have to feel good now, no matter what the experience, no matter what is happening on the outside. And then when we're able to regulate, when we move out of that sympathetic response and we actually find ourselves in the rest and digest experience within our biology, that's when we can tap in. And what I mean by that is we can tap into more love, more acceptance, more peace, more confidence. And really what's happening here is we're moving out of the survival brain, moving out of the amygdala, and we're moving into this executive learning brain, the prefrontal cortex. And when that happens, it means that we see things clearly. It means it brings more clarity. It means that we can see things in a really curious lens and more of a subjective lens versus black and white. He's wrong, I'm right, or I'm bad and I messed up. And we can really get out of that blame dynamic, and we can really see oh, I get it. We were both in a stress response. There was both of us experiencing some level of trauma, some level of something that we couldn't hold and handle. That then created the emotions that then were either suppressed or expressed in a way that was unhealthy by way of projection. And then it created certain behaviors, whether that is aggression, whether that is horrible, nasty words to each other, whether that is infidelity, whatever it was, This is the sequence of events that have occurred, essentially. And then we can really stop taking things personal. Because one of the things that is so important that every single woman and man, self included, has to be reminding ourselves of is that anyone else's behavior is not to do with us. It is to do with them. And we also get to check the fuck in. You know, we need to get to this place where we take self-responsibility. And that can sometimes be the hardest thing, because as little girls, we didn't want to be naughty, bad, wrong girls. We wanted to do good. We wanted to be good. We wanted to get mummy and daddy's approval. And what that means is as we grow into adults, we kind of hold on to that. And we try to be perfect. And we try to control everything and the way in which we're received, the way in which we're perceived. We try and control things so that we don't have to feel, oh my God, the shame of, am I a bad girl? I'm a naughty girl, which of course is just a story, but it's something that's living within inside of us. We have to remember that who we are innately is a divine human being that does not do wrong, is perfect, whole and complete, but unfinished. And we will do things that hurt other people sometimes, and we have to take responsibility for that. We have to know why we did that, and we have to love and nurture and find compassion for ourselves and forgive ourselves and learn and make changes moving forward. Now, not everyone's going to do that, because not everyone has the self-awareness, and some people are holding such deep wounds about having to be the good one that it creates this almost like distortion, and they're not able to connect with it. So I want to get into something that is really, really important. When you're in this relationship and this relationship is everything that you thought it would be, and then things start to change because these experiences come up, and then you don't have the repair tools, and then you break up. What's really, really important is that afterwards, after you've decided, or he's decided, or the two of you have decided, because sometimes breakups can be one person's decision or it can be both persons' decision. What's really important, and I say this to every single woman, you absolutely have to set yourself up with 360 support. So not just any one type of support, but a support system that's going to help you not round the clock per se, but that might be needed for a time, but different types of support. So it's really important that you have girlfriends that are on the wavelength of not male bashing or hating on him, because yeah, you get to hate on him for a little while, and then you have to move that anger. You have to feel that anger, and you have to get to that place where you're no longer in the stress response, you're out of that fight response, and you're in your learning brain where you can see, oh, that guy is just hurting, so hurt himself and hurt me in the process. And thank you, and fuck you, I'm going. With love, right? With respect, but moving on. It's really important that you have friends that don't want to project their male stuff, their male hate, their dad wounds, their boyfriend wounds, their cheater wounds with you. Why? Because you will ruminate in the story. You'll just sit there over multiple glasses of wine, and you will just talk about how there's no good men out there, no men are to be trusted, that all men are evil, that all men are going to cheat, that it's better off being alone and being at home with your dog and your cats or whatever pet you have. That isn't gonna serve and support you. Why? Because it's bullshit. Because there are good men out there, and not all men cheat. And you do get to be at home with a man who loves and supports you. And the more you sit in the story and you drink those glasses of wine with your girlfriends, and you just sit there and you're just talking about all the problems, you're literally downgrading your biology, and you're infusing every single cell in your body to hate men, to be on the lookout for all the bad men, to like watch for all the red flags on any date that you go on. And you're literally sitting in that survival response. You're just getting ready. You're getting ready to fight, flight, and then eventually freeze. And it doesn't feel good to the body. And our biology and our body and our nervous system is shaped by our experience, and our experiences shape our biology. So if you think about the cheating absolutely, and the betrayal or the abandonment or whatever happened in your relationship, for me it was cheating. That experience and that breakup shaped your biology, because you went into a stress response, you went into fear, you went into anxiety, you went into either fight, flight, freeze, or appease, and it didn't feel good, and it felt like a threat to your body, to your system. So it's shaping. So now you've got memory tags in your body. And until you know how to regulate your body and release the energy from your body's going to hold those memory tags, and you're going to continuously look, because it's shaped your biology. Now, equally, at the same time, our biology is shaping our experiences. So what I mean by that is, because your biology is experiencing a certain frequency, shall we call it, you're then looking, it's kind of like on high alert, waiting for the next thing to happen, which is really fucking cool because it's trying to protect you. But it's also going to find everything that you want and everything that you're matching as truth. It's like the red car example. You know, when you think, oh, I'm going to buy a red car, and then all you see is red cars. It's the exact same thing. I've got it with Birkenstocks at the moment. I really want those closed Birkenstocks, and now I keep seeing them everywhere. So wild. But the same happens for you. So it's really important that you set yourself up with an environment, girlfriends, coaches, therapists, whatever your flavor is, and you make sure that those people, those humans, men or women, are literally wanting to see you win and move forward with empowerment, which doesn't include hate, because hate's just going to keep you stuck in that cycle of all the ruminating thoughts. And one of the most important things is you get to vision and be with what you want to create for yourself. And I'm going to leave you with a really powerful question for this as your homework. But you get to vision your future, and you really get to sit in what you want your future to entail now, from experience and from working with many women in this. You might not see it now, especially if you're sitting right in it. Maybe you've just broken up, or you're still in the what the fuck stage. I can't believe that happened, and I can't believe he did that, and all of the things. And that can go on for years. And if you're in that stage, something that I really want to drill home to you is, maybe not right now, you can't see it because you're still in the mud, but your future, the life after you be with everything that you're experiencing, can be better than you could possibly imagine. In the mud right now, and in the fear and the emotions, all of the self-limiting beliefs that we've ever felt about ourselves resurface in these really big experiences. Like, we'll start thinking, are we good enough? And what was wrong with me? And I should be prettier or thinner, or anything that we've ever held as a self-limiting belief can come up in this experience. And then it's our job to remember who the fuck we are, and to really love on ourselves and find compassion for ourselves and find compassion for other humans, because they've been having challenging experiences as well. And you will get there. You will get there when you do the work, when you learn the gifts of what this experience has brought you. But it's really, really important that you be with people that are going to set you up to win. And what I want to leave you with, if you're in it right now, maybe you want to revisit it. Maybe right now in your dating life, you don't feel very confident. You're over your ex, but you're not over the experience, or at least you know that your body absolutely isn't, because maybe, like I mentioned earlier, you're always looking for the red flags, or every guy you meet reminds you of your ex, because we're attracting what we're holding, remember? So if you're in that position right now and you're in it, there's a question that I want you to ask yourself. And I want you to give yourself some time, like put some music on, write it out at the top of your page, really feel in and just free write. And ask yourself, what kind of woman do I get to become from this experience now? Because like I shared earlier, everything that we're doing, everything that we're saying, everything that we're thinking, everything that we're inviting in is shaping our biology. and we're creating our own experience. So this exercise is going to be a really beautiful way of you intentionally stepping out of the survival brain and into that experience where you get to really look at what's actually fucking possible for you versus sitting in the mud. And this might take a little time. Might take a little time for you to be able to really see the gifts and feel the gifts and experience a texture and a forward manifestation, essentially, of what it is that you want to experience. My love, I hope that this episode landed for you. I really, really loved sharing this with you, and I'm going to share more in the space of breakups because I do see them as such a powerful, powerful experience to really shake us up and move us into a higher frequency and a deeper level of embodiment within ourselves and being able to really love ourselves in a new way. So if you did enjoy the episode, then please leave me a 5-star review, and I would love to connect with you on Instagram. I am Anna Christina. Thank you so much for being here.